Hi, this is Tasha with Pathways to Peace Counseling, and I wanted to do a quick video to teach how to play the House of Boundaries game in session with kids. You can play this game either in individual sessions, you can play it with groups, and it would also be a good family counseling game if you are trying to help families work on boundaries and understand appropriate boundaries. So when you receive the game, it will come in a plastic bag like this, and inside you'll find the cover page. Now, this has some basic instructions that go over most of this information. It doesn't talk about the token cards, but we will get to that. And it is going to have the Who Killed the Friendship cards. So this is really what the game's playing the game is about. So you're going to have 6 different characters. And with each of these kids, it has character qualities about them that are positive. And then each of them also have kind of more negative traits about them. And that helps kids recognize that, there's nobody that's perfect that has everything good. And then there's nobody that's just all bad that doesn't have any good qualities, because everybody has both good and bad qualities to them. So you've got your 6 kids. And then we've got the different rooms. Now, each room covers a different aspect of life and relationships. So the attic talks about online activity. So we get into internet safety. It talks about how to have appropriate boundaries online etiquette. So this would kind of cover social media. And it kind of goes into a little bit of no man's land, because the attic can kind of be off by itself to where it feels private, but at the same time, information on there can now obviously be shared to masses of people. And it's probably being kept somewhere on a server and could possibly come back to bite you eventually. So kids need to be aware of online dangers. So the bathroom would be private thoughts that they don't need to share with other people. There's certain things that just really don't need to be talked about. The dining room would be family issues. So this will get into a little bit about, what are things about your family you should share with others? What are private issues that you shouldn't share with other people? The front porch would be more like getting to know new people. And so this would be kind of like if the mailman shows up, what kind of conversations are appropriate to have with the mailman, and which, you don't want to share any kind of personal information, that kind of thing. Sports and hobbies, this would be helping kids recognize ways to connect with other people, but also, that in life, sometimes we have compartmentalized friend groups. So you might have say a soccer team that whenever it's soccer practice and game day, you hang out with those kids, but you might not see them a lot and have a lot of interaction with them outside of that. And then the kitchen's about everyday life. The living room is also kind of more getting to know people, and it has a lot of everyday life information as well. But this would be more of a safety zone of getting to know people. The nursery would be childhood experiences. So this would be more private information. Kids would need to know, when is it okay to share, say, traumatic childhood events, and when is it not safe to share that with other kids. The bedroom is kind of a personal space. So this helps kids recognize that maybe they only have 2 or 3 really close friends that they trust with the most personal information about them. And then you're going to have the relationship killers. So these are things that kids do that ruin their relationships, like blaming, bullying, excluding, lying, etc. And then we also have the trivia cards. So let's see. And so these are going to cover the same topics as the rooms. And so it will just have questions that the kids will answer. So at the beginning of a turn, a kid will choose a trivia card and they'll answer the card, and then they'll be able to move on and make their accusation of who killed the friendship, who killed the friendship, where did it happen, and what relationship killer was used. So anyway, these will ask a lot of questions about all of those topics that we talked about with the different rooms. So there's 2 different ways that you can play the game. First of all, you'll always pass out all of the Who Killed the Friendship cards to all of the players that are playing. So whether it's just 2 people, they'll end up with about half of the cards. If there's more than that playing, then you'll just pass out all the cards evenly, or as evenly as you can, to all the players involved. And then what you'll do is you'll pull out one of each of the categories. So one person, one room, and one relationship killer, and you will put them in the top secret envelope, which I have lost. Let's see, the top secret envelope. So before you pass out the cards, you'll put those three just randomly selected cards inside here. And so the goal of the game is to figure out who killed the friendship. And so after the cards are passed out, the first player will answer one of the trivia cards. And then after they answer the question, they will make an accusation. So you'll tell them, choose a person that you don't have, a room that you don't have, and a relationship killer that you don't have to make the accusation. So let's say the first kid says, I think Kristen killed the friendship in the nursery by lying. Then if you want to play a fast round, you could have all the other players that have any of those three cards lay them down. If you want to play a slower round, then say the person on the left would play one card if they have it. If they don't have it, you'll just move on to the next player until somebody has a card, and then they'll lay it down. And the way that will work is that as these token cards are played, they'll be matched with the card that was laid down and set off to the side. So only the token cards that are left in play will be on the table for them to select from. So it makes it a whole lot easier for elementary age kids because they're not having to read, and the colors of the words kind of line up so that they, it just makes it a whole lot easier. So they're not constantly trying to read the checklist because it is really cumbersome for them. So yeah, the token cards make it a whole lot easier to play the game. And then so whoever guesses correctly, so like, let's say that I say, I think it was Justin excluding in the kitchen, and nobody has any of those three cards. At that point, you'll open the top secret envelope to see if those three cards are in there. And if they match, then I would win the game. And so that's the way it goes. And so there's a lot of different skills that are talked about in this game. It's great for kids who just struggle with boundaries in general, maybe kids who share too much personal information and end up getting in trouble, with kids gossiping about them or teasing them about things that they've said. It can be really good for kids that are maybe overly guarded and they don't know how to connect with other kids. Then it teaches them kind of how to open that doorway to start building relationships and how to move from, say, the front porch into the living room where they can start to get to know people better. And so there's just a lot of aspects. Honestly, all the kids that I work with benefit from this game because almost all of them really need help understanding boundaries and how to establish them. And elementary is a great time to introduce this game. It would be a little bit more difficult for very young kids. I wouldn't recommend it for kids like below 7 years old or so, because it's a little bit complicated. And so I don't know that they would do that well. But this game is great all the way up. I mean, I've had high school kids that I've played this with because they just really needed to work on social skills and boundaries, and especially the online activity. Very much an issue with your middle school and high school kids. So, but I've realized that a lot of the high school kids even are open to playing these games. So I hope this one comes in handy, and feel free to message me with any questions or concerns that you have with it, and I will do all I can to help you out with it. Thank you so much.